No, it's like $2, sorry. $2 for half a gallon of gas, right? This thing will get me by when those things I talked about fail me. You know, it's a really bad day. You can do a couple things with this, okay? I have a regular 12-volt battery or deep cycle marine battery charger. You buy it, you know, for like, what is it, Fish and Shore or something like that. You know, like these trolley motors, deep cycle motors. They have the advanced technology nowadays where you can charge, you know, these AGMs and gels and all this stuff, and it has all those options. Now, such a large battery bank I have, yes, it does. At first, for the first 15-20 minutes, I might read bad battery. I gotta go down, shut it off, turn it back on, and then it's good. And it's pumping in, you know, 10 amps, maybe 20 amps, just something to get by for a while. You want to get by, and that magic number, I talked about it, till the morning. If you keep yourself at that magic number, you're good. And then the sun comes out the next morning, chances are you're probably going to have a better day the next day. So it's just going to go pop back up. Or it's going to hold you all through to the next night, okay? So it's not a big deal. Like I said, this doesn't happen very often, so like what I'm telling you is like maybe once a month, maybe once every couple months, maybe months and months I don't have to do this, okay? I'm just telling you in that rare occasion that solar is just not working for me, I just don't get any charge, and or otherwise I just have to use a ton of electricity for some reason. Maybe, you know, I'm building a building and I have to run my air compressor all day long. It's just running, and I'm not bringing in the energy I need. This is my magic bullet, okay? Very quiet, tiny, as you can see. You can just carry it like this. Bring it anywhere you want. Sometimes, you know, if I want to play Xbox, I'll just throw this in. I figured out, I did a cost measure. When I play Xbox and put my big screen TV on, and I don't really want to use an electricity, and I don't want to have any spare stuff anywhere, and I'll just throw it on a generator for a little bit. I think it's like $1 for free almost free electricity for $1. I mean, it uses like a little bit of gasoline to run that stuff. I mean, I can't even, and these things will last forever. It was $1,000 to buy these things. These are not cheap. Honda generators are like the best. It's very easy to change the oil. You just pop this thing off, you drain it on the bottom, you put a little tiny bit of oil left. They recommend every 40 hours put it in. This thing will probably last forever. So very efficient, very quiet. That's what I do in the situation in which I don't have the electricity I need. I just plug this thing in to one, or even would be better, two of those Fish and Shore ones you can buy at you can buy at the a boat store. You can buy it on Amazon.com. I'll put a link on that. And it's like, again, now having a 12-volt system works great because it allows me to buy inverters and charge controllers and everything that you would normally use for a boat or a camper or whatever, because it's just cheaper and it's more available, and it is not a specialized market like it would be for a 24-volt system. That's my opinion. Is the 24-volt systems, you buy more of the off-grid type, you know, apparatuses, and they tend to be a little more expensive. This is just a 12-volt system, a simple generator you'd use for whatever you want to use it for. You can use it for spare energy if you want to run a curling iron or something. You know, 1,000 watts isn't much, but it is enough to run a couple charge controllers. Chargers to charge your batteries on those days that, you know, or help charge the batteries on those days that are really bad, which, like I said, doesn't happen very often. So that's that component. That is what I do. It doesn't happen very often. Oh, let me go back. Forgive me for flying around the house like this. Now, like I mentioned before, this is a SunForce charge inverter, okay? It looks like it is a big black box, okay? I have a couple of these wires coming in from the solar panels up here, but it's a 2,500 watt. It was $300. Okay, 12 volt. It was on Amazon.com. I can put a link on that too. It ranges from 370, I noticed, up to 470. Okay, and it's a cheaper unit. Yes, it is. It's a pure sine wave, meaning that your electronics won't run really weird on it. I got this goes to a kitchen, this goes to the living room, and this is a timer for my freezer. My freezer gets plugged right into here, goes on a timer, goes off at night. Doesn't need to be on at night. And then my, this is a cigarette plug, okay? Cigarette plugs are 12 volt too. And guess what? Anything that runs off 12 volt, I try to run right to the batteries. And the reason why I got that plugged in is because I have it wired to my router. My router runs off 12 volts. So I have my router actually plugged into a 12 volt cigarette lighter, and my Wi-Fi, my wireless router Netgear. Both these things run off of this, a 12-volt cigarette lighter that you have in your car. And this thing is 12 volt, and it has an accessory for that. Okay, so yep, it's cheaper. I've had it about 3 years now, and it's working great. Never fails. It pulls a good amount of. Man, I ran huge amounts of loads on this thing. And just make sure that you have thick enough gauge wire. That's the main thing. I went to Home Depot and bought this really thick. I think it's 2.0 gauge. This is the positive. This is the negative. And then make sure you have, you know, I'm a big one on making sure you have tons of fuses. So fuses for this. I have fuses for in between all these lines here. Just make sure there's thick enough wire. Get the thickest wires you can for batteries, anything. Just do the research, find out what the thickest you can get. Get maybe even above thick if you want to be super careful. And then always get, you know, the appropriate size fuse for what you're using for. It just takes a little research, not real hard. You know, for the time invested into it, I think it's a great outcome. So I have actually 2 lines going down of these really thick wire. But what's also nice about 12 volt is the chance of being shocked is less. This is the positive. I'm touching the positive. I'm not getting shocked at all. There is very low chance of actually getting shocked. If you think about it, you know those little 9-volt batteries that you put in like toys and stuff like that? Those are 9 volts, okay? You can put your tongue on that. This is 12 volts, okay? So it's like 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 volts more than those little tiny batteries as far as voltage, okay? That can shock you. So for me, I like working around this stuff. Granted, yes, if you contact negative and positive, no matter what, you're going to have a problem. You got to be really careful to keep everything separated. Know exactly what you're doing when you're wiring. Have your conscious mind into what you're doing. This is positive. This is negative, you know, type thing. This is the positive. That's why I clearly mark everything. This is positive. This is negative. And then when you're doing it, you're like positive, negative, and don't be like looking the other way and let these two touch when it's hooked up to a live battery.